It is episode 138 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by Blue Wire. Your boys Hayden and Jevin are joined by a recurring guest, good friend of the show, fellow Pat boy, Scott Ony. How's it going, buddy? How we doing?
We're good, man. Good. Happy to be back.
Fucking right, you surviving the snow or what?
Yeah, we're all good. Got some new winter tires the other day.
Love
Dogs
that
are
Oh,
in
life.
good.
it.
You're not a piece of shit. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. My old ones were trash. Had to pull out some new ones, and I got to drive across the province anyway, so it's not much you can do without them.
Yeah, you got a trip scheduled up to Trail in a couple of
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Trail
Tomorrow.
Fruitvale, leaving tomorrow. Be a long drive.
How long is the drive?
It's like 7, but the roads, who knows?
Yeah, it's gonna be like 24.
Yeah, try to leave early.
Well, it's just family up there.
Yeah, family, friends.
Are you gonna just spend the Christmas season, come back for New Year's kind of thing? Or are you coming back in the new year?
Yeah,
What's the plan?
yeah. I'll be back for New Year's. Probably come back on 30th, maybe
Fucking rights.
31st, somewhere around there.
Fucking rights. Hayden, you surviving the snow, buddy? We got ton overnight, about 20 centimeters.
Yeah, dude, it was kind of crazy. Last night I was coming home and I was just turning on from Lougheed onto Harris and I wasn't going fast, maybe like 10 kilometers an hour, right? Obviously, inching my way through.
Yeah.
And you know how like that light works on Harris and Lougheed, where it's like it'll be the dedicated left turn lanes
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll be straight going through Lougheed.
Yeah.
And then it'll be Harris turning left and then
Yeah.
Harris going to yeah.
Rinse and repeat.
So
Yeah.
it was the last one. It was Harris by Petro turning left and
Mm-hmm.
going up Harris. And this one truck in front of me obviously was yielding to the traffic coming
Yeah.
ahead of him, right? And so I was like inching up and then all of a sudden black ice.
Oh no.
And I'm skirting along, and at this point, I'm like, holy fuck, am I pressing the gas? And I'm like, both feet are on the brake, and I'm like, oh fuck. And so I just turned left, and next thing you know, I'm going straight, and then I'm
Yeah.
like perpendicular to the
Oh
road,
my God.
and I'm like, what the fuck was that, man? Tires are even with like snow tires or like any like sort of all seasons doesn't fucking matter. You got to be
Yeah.
on your toes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I almost rear-ended someone.
The minivan was Tokyo drifting.
Dude, she was out for a spin. Fuck.
Yeah. Me and Georgia had plans to go Christmas shopping this morning, and obviously that was before I knew about the massive snowfall we were gonna get. Walk up to my car and I realized that it's my car is basically plowed in, and I'm like, this is a nightmare. I'm shoveling it out, and I'm like, I don't even know if my car is gonna be like moving out of this, and I'm doing all this work. Let's just hope for the best, but luckily the Honda Accord is just fine, just fine. So
Beauty.
yeah, it was perfect. But let's get into this episode. We got a very fun episode ahead of us. Oh, my camera went off again, naturally. There we go. I'm back. We're gonna kick it off with Canucks. So we got 1 point out of a possible six. Um, Shootout win against Calgary on Wednesday, and then back-to-back 5-1 losses to the Jets and the Blues. Um, Very not much that happened throughout this whole game. Besser and Patterson were both out against Winnipeg. But Hayden, did you catch any of this week's games? And what were some of your thoughts on any of the performances?
Yeah, unfortunately, I caught majority of them, and unfortunately, I woke up uh the next morning and I was like, well, goddamn, nothing good except for the Calgary one, which couldn't stay awake for because I'm a pussy. And
Your words, not
yeah,
mine.
what?
Your words, not mine.
Yeah, exactly. But it's last night that game was tough, especially after how hot we looked in the first period.
Hmm.
And then yeah, woke up again and it was 5-1. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was doing the Express game that night, and I was kind of following along as I was doing like in between crowd work stuff, and I was just 2-0, 3-0. I'm like, oh God, this is a nightmare. And Winnipeg has been so hot and cold this year, and they've had one like severe, like constant bright spot, which is Connor Hellebuck.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott, I'm gonna throw this over to you. Hellebuck had 22 saves that night. He's 16-7-1 on the season. He has 3 shutouts, sub 2 goals against average, 928 save percentage. Is he up there on your ballot for the Vezina this year?
Yeah, he's got to be with numbers like that. But like you said, Winnipeg's not that great of a team, and that award, generally goes to teams that win a lot. So I don't think anyone's touching Allmark right now in Boston. I think all of his numbers are like super comparable, and they're winning every night pretty much. So
Yeah.
I think he's carrying that one right now.
I want to jump to the 5-1 Blues loss. Kyrou had 3-1. After a slow start, you had to expect that he would turn up his production, hey?
He started to right when they went on that win streak, right? Where they lose? They lost 8 straight in regulation, then they won 7 straight right after that. And yeah, he's been good ever since. Still, I fought through it all, have him on my fantasy team the whole time. Nice 4-point night. He got banged up last night, though. I can't remember who hit him. Was it
Kyle Burrows.
yeah. So hopefully he's just out a game or two or not at all, but he lit it up for my fantasy team to start the week last night. I like that.
Yeah, I was watching the game and I was like, I mean, Canucks are losing, but I have Kyrou on my team as well, and he's kind of lighting the lamp right now, so I'll let it slide. And Kyrou's been on and off my team about 4 or 5 different times. And no one seems to be active enough in our league, so I just keep picking him right back up. So
Nice.
it's pretty nice. But Binnington had 33 saves on that night. And he's starting to pick it up after he got a little pee-pee whack from Craig Berube after he clotheslined Jason Zucker versus Pittsburgh. He started the game after and he led in 6 and got pulled, but ever since then he's seems to be picking up his play and listening to his coach. What was your whole opinion on that incident and how Binnington has picked it back up, Scott or Hayden? One of you guys.
Binnington's such a clown, man. I hate that guy. Honestly, like it was fun for a bit. It was fun when they went on their cup run and and he wasn't doing dirty shit. He was just kind of being
He was just being a
how he was being with the media and being like, I'm not nervous, all that shit. That was fun and that was cool. And then it's just every 3 weeks he just does something so stupid and I generally like players that are like that too. Like I'm a fan of Marchand. I'm a fan of Tom Wilson. Like I'm a fan of all those type of guys. But there's something about Binnington that I just hate. Like I can't stand him.
Yeah. Hayden?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like, I don't mind Binnington, but he's a fucking idiot for some of the shit that he does.
Yeah.
But he, for a goalie, purely just a goalie, and only stopping shots, he's really good.
Yeah. He's solid.
Yeah, he's absolutely solid. He stands on his fucking head. Like yesterday, I don't know how we didn't score in the first period, but he was like a lock between the pipes.
Yeah, he locked it down.
Yeah, he's crazy.
But yeah, I watch Binnington and you're getting a little more bang for your buck when you get a Blues ticket because there's like a 50-50 shot that Binnington loses his fucking mind on the ice, and he'll let in 5 on 15 shots and then he'll start chirping the bench that's just ripping him a new one, and it's like, dude, take your losses and get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you doing? But he just doesn't seem to get it. And as a coach, would that just like drive you nuts? Because Berube had to snap at some point, and it seemed like he did after the Pittsburgh game. Would that drive you insane if like your goalie did that?
Yeah, how could it not be? Like, how do you even have trust in a guy that just loses his cool so much? He lets in a bad goal, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, here it goes again. He's gonna let in another one. He's gonna take a penalty. Like, it's got like literally the exact opposite demeanor you want from a goalie.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you got like Price out there who just folds and forget everything, and he's peace of mind between the years. But excuse me, that Canucks 5-1 loss to St. Louis was their 5th 5-1 loss at home this season. Let alone combined games. I don't understand Aquilini's mindset going forward about how he wants to try and build a contender with the group we have right now. I think the first course of action, if possible, was to trade Aquilini, but unfortunately we can't do that. What course of action should the Canucks take going forward? Because it's clearly their agenda that they have right now is not working. Like 5-1 losses at home this season is embarrassing. But do you guys have like do we completely offload everything, or do we just keep one guy to build around like Pedersen, or do we just try and trade for assets? Hayden, what do you think?
I was just gonna say, like, we only have one untouchable. I know
Yeah.
we actually kind of have two untouchables. Obviously, it's gonna be Petey and Hughes that it looks like we kind of build around, which I agree with. And at this point, it doesn't like nothing's gonna happen. I think we should blow it up. I thought we should blow it up last year.
Yeah.
I thought we should have done everything that we could have to get um I don't know, the wheels off of the wagon and totally restart and build a whole new system because this shit isn't working.
Yeah.
Not working at all. Our backup goalie, it's crazy how he has as many wins as he does, and his goals against average is above 3.5.
Yeah.
Like he's not good. Demko is not like I know he's not healthy, but he's not been good. We have like four bright spots on this team full of duds.
Yeah. And
The,
it's
the, the
go ahead,
problem
Scott.
I've seen with this team is that like the franchise in general, they just keep getting unlucky like glimmers of hope. They were so bad after their, cup run those few years, and then they get 3 years in a row where they have elite rookies. Besser looks like he's going to be a 50-goal scorer multiple times. Pedersen looks like he's going to be 110, 120 point guy every year. And then Quinn Hughes looks like he's the best offensive defenseman since Carlson. And that looks like a promising future. And then you get playoff bubble Demko. And then you get last year after the team's terrible and Boudreau comes in. Holy shit, maybe it was just the coach. We got a new system. We're good now. So you keep getting tricked into thinking this team's good and you forget about all the bad. And you
Yeah.
got unlucky with Demko and like just so many bad things, terrible free agent signings, terrible cap management. And like I honestly think this is the worst the Canucks have been, worst place they have been in like 20 years. Cause like before the Naslund era, maybe since the Messier times
Yeah.
because they're gonna waste. I'm scared they're gonna waste all these young guys. They're probably gonna trade Bo. They're probably gonna trade Brock, but PD and Hughes, they're gonna leave, man. They're not gonna stay here for 10 years going through this shit. They're just gonna
Yeah.
leave. And if you don't trade them now and get the assets, which sounds terrible because they're awesome to watch and they're really good hockey players that can be a core you can build around. But they're going to age out of their window, and you're going to get nothing for them, and they're going to walk in free agency, or you're going to sell them as a rental instead. Like you got to sell them all right now because they're not close to winning. They're
Yeah.
just not.
No, 100%. They definitely fumbled the bag with all these prospects. And I agree with the false sense of hope as well, because it's so on par with this. And Aquilini's all about playoff revenue, but he doesn't realize that you have to completely tear it down in order to get consistent playoff revenue. Like Buffalo, on the pace they're at, they're going to be consistent playoff teams for many years to come, and they were trash. But that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to tear it down and then get draft capital, try to sign bargains maybe, but all you're just sign low-level contracts so that you're somewhat competitive, and then just try and build a team around young prospects. And that's what St. Louis did with Tage and Rasmus Dahlin and Casey Middlestad, Dylan Cousins, stuff like that. Like that's what you have to do. But Aquilini is all about spending to the cap and putting band-aids over 10-inch gashes. And it's like it's not gonna work. And he just doesn't really understand that. He wants one playoff year, one 4-game series that we're gonna get swept instead of 7 years of shit, where that's unfortunately what you have to go through in order if you want to win in this league. Like Colorado Avalanche had the worst season in NHL history. They had like 42 points, and now they're a cup champ like 6 years later. Like that's
And
what
that
you
was
have.
after they already got their two,
Yeah,
Landeskog and McKinnon so high. Like it
exactly.
doesn't hit right away.
Exactly. Like Aquilini just doesn't understand that, and so it's very frustrating. We're not going to win a title under this management. 2011 was lucky, but you saw that in 2012 we won the President's Trophy as well, and lost in five
Well,
games
look at
to an eight
2011.
seed.
Who's their two best players on the team? Drafted in 1998 or
Yeah,
1999, whatever it was.
exactly,
It's 12
exactly.
years later.
Yeah, exactly. So it's brutal. Like the player management is awful as well. Like our best line against Calgary was Hoglander, Dries, and whoever. In the next game, Hoglander scratched and Dries is with.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting, Jeff, but I was just gonna say, does anyone realize like there's no continuity on these lines?
Yeah, it
Like
doesn't make sense.
no one is playing with who they played with the game before, I feel like I don't understand why Besser was on line one when he missed a game previously, obviously due to illness, but it's like give him some time. Like Kuzmenko, why is Kuzmenko on the third line?
It doesn't make sense. They're not
It
able to
doesn't.
build any chemistry and stuff like that because he's constantly scratching guys in and out of the lineup and switching lines
Yeah.
around. It doesn't make sense.
And then
And
who did they put yesterday at the Abbotsford team?
They sent
um
they sent Hoglander back down.
Yeah, they sent Hoglander back
yeah.
down to the,
Yeah.
and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It's tough either way because like if the team's losing, you have those lines together, you're gonna be like, these lines aren't working. Like, but like how long can you keep them together? I get it, the constant switching thing. I've been going through that in San Jose because we've sucked for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's like it's really difficult. If they're losing games, the lines clearly aren't working. But how long, like, I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in, especially coaching a bad team. Like
It's just like it's kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg. It's like, are we losing because there's not enough chemistry, or are we losing because the lines are bad? So you're constantly switching around, but it's like you're not letting the players really gel in game action. And when we find something that works, we even switch around the line that works. I understand like one line, two of the four lines aren't working, switch around the two that aren't working, but keep at least one of the ones that have been gelling well the past few games. But yeah, it's
Just
really
do
frustrating.
something, man.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Um, I think the conversation has died on Spencer Martin being the starter over Demko. I
Yeah.
think Spencer Martin could be like an elite backup in this league, but I don't think he's a starter yet. He might he might work his way up to that point, but I think he is just a backup. I still think it's Demko's team. Players are allowed to have off seasons. Connor Hellebuck is a Vezina favorite. He's a Vezina winner, and he had an off season the past couple of years. So you're allowed to have off seasons, but management overall just hasn't been well. But we'll move on. We'll go on to some happier notes here. The grade eight, Alexander Ovechkin hits 800 goals with a hat trick against Chicago. Um, the day after the day we upload, of course, the day after we talk about Ov and his pace to 894, tying Gretzky and stuff like that. Of course, the game after he gets a Hattie to hit 800 goals. He's obviously going to pass Howe, and it's amazing how he's gone through four shortened seasons in his career, two lockouts, two COVID seasons at least. He's been healthy, and he's still on pace to hit Gretzky's record. What were your boys? How were you guys feeling when you saw that Gretzky is the third player in NHL history to clip 800 goals?
yeah, Ovi is he's the best, man. He's the best. How could you not be pumped? Like I get there's a lot of Ovi haters out there, and
Which I
I
don't
dis
understand.
I disagree with them wholeheartedly. I'm a fan of sports. I don't give any shits about politics. I don't want to fucking talk about it. I watch sports. That's it. And he's the best to ever do it. Like every other goal scorer played in the 80s. That was the easiest era to score in. Like the goalies were ridiculous. Ovi would have 1600 by now if he played then. Like he's just the best. He's the best ever. I'm pumped that we've got to watch him. I'm rooting for him the
Yeah.
rest of the way. Being a Caps fan, still fun as hell because they're not going to win shit, but they get to watch this the whole way through. It's great. Like,
Yeah.
hopefully keeps going. Hopefully breaks Gretzky by a bunch, gets 950 because he trails a bunch in playoff goals. So if he can play a couple extra seasons on top of that, he might get the total goal record, which no one cares about, right? It's all about regular season, but still, I want him to get the most ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no,
100%.
exact same for me. Bring on Howe. hopefully it's only like another 2 games minimum for him, and then that's the road to Gretzky.
Yeah,
And every goal closer is gonna be like another day up till Christmas. It's just the anticipation of when it comes. And then when he finally breaks it, it's okay, what is he gonna set it at?
100%.
And
That's what I'm looking forward to.
and how long is that gonna be, or how long is that gonna take till that gets broken? And are we gonna be living in the same like era? Yeah, I think we will be. I think if anyone's gonna break something like that, it will be someone who's playing right now. Don't know who, but
If it's gonna be that happen, it's gonna have to be someone young. And who knows if it's like obviously someone young, but like because of this season, how crazy scoring's gone, is this gonna be a trend? Like we have like 60 guys on pace for a point per game. So like if that's going to happen for the next 10 years, a guy coming up fresh, like a guy like Connor Bedard might be able to do that if this is like a new scoring era where like we haven't seen a rookie score 50 since Ovi. Maybe Bedard can do it next year if he's in the right situation
Yeah,
because of the scoring that's going on in this league. Like Bo Horvat's having this crazy year. He's still like 60 something in scoring. Like it's like he's still actually in the exact same spot, like points per game wise, as he's always been.
yeah, he
yeah.
has like 23 goals and like 9
The
assists or
goals are
something.
way above, but yeah, his points totals, it's like you're going, oh, he's a 90-point guy. That's how good he is. But a 90-point guy is now like a 70-point guy.
Yeah, it's super inflated now. Like
Yeah.
scoring has gone up insane. But no, I'm super excited about Ovi. I was talking to my mom about this, and she's kind of like on the bubble with hockey and stuff like that. She loves it, but she doesn't quite understand like how age works and everything like that. And I just keep saying like, Mom, he's Russian. He's gonna keep going until he breaks it. Like nothing's gonna hurt this dude. He keeps running people over, but he's still somehow healthy. It's probably all the Dr. Peppers that he's drinking and just his Russian blood that he has in him. But yeah, I think Ovi breaks it. I think he clips 900 goals, and I just think because you think about it, the season's not over, and he's 95 goals away from tying, or 94 away from tying, 95 away from breaking. In Ovi standards, that's what 2.5 seasons on average, maybe
It's
two
less
seasons,
than two on average. I mean, yeah,
because
I guess total average with his all short season. But he's got 50, he's gonna have 50 goals 10 times
no,
after this
100%,
year.
yeah, 100%. Like with he like from now on, like from this point going forward, we still have what half the season left, just under maybe, and
Yeah, he's gonna need like 65 after this season.
yeah, it's
Just under, we
insane.
still have we still have so much of the season to go.
It's insane. And if he goes on an absolute tear, then he might only need one season to fucking break it, and
That'd be cool.
it is going to be the like one of the best moments in NHL history, in sports history. Like I'm so excited for when that day comes. It's gonna be great. Um, what would be even more electric if like Nick Backstrom stayed healthy and assisted on the record-breaking goal. That would be great.
I'll be Bo
But
Horvat instead.
yeah, he's
Oh,
gonna. And Washington management came out and said that they're not going to rebuild until Ovi retires, so they're going to just try and contend while he's in the league, which is pretty good homage to the Grade Eight. But Mitch Marner, his point streak ends at 23 games. At some point, it looked like that guy wasn't gonna fucking stop scoring, but they got blanked by the Regs or the Rangers, I should say. But pretty impressive streak at 23 games. Say hey, too
yeah,
bad.
it's only a couple of games.
Yeah, it's
It's
only a few.
only like over a quarter of the season that you held a continuous
Yeah,
point.
yeah, I've seen worse.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, it's good. It was good. He didn't put up a ton of points. It's a good run though. He's
yeah,
getting one every night.
I think I saw he had like over 30 like 32 points or something like that in 23 games, but still impressive nonetheless. McDavid, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the controversial offside goal against St. Louis it was.
Yep.
He had choice words for the NHL saying they have to clarify what the rules are. Kind of paraphrasing there, but do you think this is
Oh,
Oh, Jeff, your mic.
can you hear me?
Yep.
I accidentally pressed the mute button on it. My bad. Um,
I just like
but
turned. I'm like, what the
yeah.
fuck's happened?
But do you believe that this is a fair comments from Connor McDavid? I don't know if you guys saw the goal, if you quickly want to look it up on Twitter, but is very similar to the Cale Makar goal in the last playoffs against Edmonton when he was skating the puck in. He had handle of it. Nichushkin was still in the zone, but for the brief second he didn't have the wasn't touching the puck. Um, he regained possession after Nichushkin exited the zone, and it was called onside. McDavid, very something very similar, but in my opinion, I believe it was offside. What do you guys think of the call and the comments from McDavid, if you guys happen to see it?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I saw the Makar. I know the Makar one you're talking about. But yeah, can't really comment on it. Obviously, they got clarified. I was confused by the Makar one, and the rules across all four sports suck right now. The refs suck. They're all terrible.
Yeah. It's embarrassing how like in the NFL you don't know what a catch is, and now you don't know what goalie interference offside is. It's fucking brutal. They got to set a hard line on what's offside, what isn't. But Scott, basically, McDavid was carrying the puck in. He went in before the puck and then regained possession in the zone, and they called it offside. It was in overtime, they scored and then they challenged it and then it got reversed. So it was a pretty awkward situation there.
Well, like,
But
does the puck have to be touching the blade of your stick for that to be possession? Like, if you've been controlling it the whole way and haven't like clearly lost, right? Like, when you're stick handling, your puck is not constantly in touch, in
I know.
contact with your stick's not constantly in contact with the puck. Like, so it's when you slow it down and these plays down to a million frames a fucking second, you don't. It changes the whole play. It changes it with hits. It changes it with so much shit. That's not how. That's not how the game. That's not the speed of the game. I understand you have to see things, but it completely changes how a play actually was. Like people say you can see like intents for like headshots. It's like you can't tell what that guy's eyes are doing when you slow it down like that. Like you see, look at him, he's looking at him for like what, a millionth of a second. Like you can't see shit. It's so different. Some of those plays just have to be the live eye. So you slow them down, it just fucks everything up.
Yeah, 100%. Because yeah, that's pretty brutal. How like here, I'll send it to you quickly.
Yeah, I
Um,
just watched it. Um, yeah, it's almost exactly like the Cale Makar one. It's pretty fucking bad. Like you couldn't tell that he had lost possession considering that no one had the possession as he walked it in. He
yeah,
was the last person, and then he got his stick hit. Like that could have been a slash if you wanted to consider it. Like
yeah,
it's so bogus, man. That's absolutely bogus that a game can be decided on a play like that, where
yeah.
it's like no one at the time would have ever have thought you'd call that offside.
The only thing that I maybe agree with is because McDavid was the one that was offside and then he was the one who touched it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Makar going in, someone else was offside and then he wasn't touching it going in, but he had possession of the puck. The rules don't make fucking sense. At this
No, they
point,
don't.
it's gonna get to the rate where you can't even celebrate a goal until the puck is dropped at center ice.
Yeah.
Like you can't celebrate shit.
No,
Scott,
you can't.
what did you think of it?
Oh, the clip wasn't that long. So my whole thought is it's the same as if you skate in the zone backwards.
Backwards. Yeah.
You maintain that possession of the puck. I couldn't tell if he continued to maintain it through the play or not by the video there. Like it looked as if he lost the puck. So that one's a little tricky. It's really muddy waters. So it's gotta be your opinion. Did he have control when he was coming over the line? Yeah, it looked like it, but it wasn't touching his stick. And then if he lost it, then could you it's hard. Where did he lose control of the puck? Did he have control when he entered the zone, or did
Yeah,
he
it's
lose it after he crossed the zone? And those ones are always going to be tricky to call. It's a complete judgment call. There's no clear ruling on it. Did he
yeah.
have control crossing the blue line? Well, the slow motion replay doesn't look like it, but when you're watching them fucking live, it does look like it.
Yeah.
So the game's not played at a friggin' million frames per second.
I saw this funny comment after like the Makar goal, like over that whole scandal or like debacle. And the video after like the next game was McDavid warming up and doing quick stick handles, and it was like this is McDavid losing control of the puck. Like
Oh,
a thousand times because he's just like
Yeah.
stick handling quick. So it's really like you said, muddy water is a perfect description for it because it's like we don't know what the fuck the rules are, and it's very confusing to the players, coaches, everything. So see what happens going forward. John Tortorella, head coach of the Flyers, scratches Kevin Hayes, leading scorer for the Flyers. He has 29 points in 32 games. Did you boys, what were your thoughts on scratching your the leading scorer of your team?
it just sounds stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you, what? How do you? That's like scratching your quarterback, or like scratching your top running back who's having a great season.
Yeah.
Just makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. It
But yeah,
doesn't.
I mean, listen, that sounds dumb as hell. Of course it does. They're a team that struggles to score goals, but I mean, you know how Torts runs this shit, and he says it's between him and Kevin. You don't know how many times he told Kevin, "Hey, you need to back check on that play all season long," or "Hey, this is how our system works. You can't be waiting in that spot." And how many times he disobeyed him or has been late to a practice or any of that shit. So it's
100%.
like, how much is he going against the coach again and again and again? And at what point do you like? You're gonna lose your entire room either way, I guess, sitting your
Yeah.
best player or like not holding guys to the same standard. If he's not doing the fucking shit the coach is asking him to do again and again, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like if the
100%.
guy's just running rogue out there, playing the game however he wants to play it. And I mean, there's certain players that you allow to do that. Like you listen to Derek Lalonde on the Chicklets podcast. He was talking about how they like kind of did that with Kucherov a bit. They had to wean him in, but there was times where they'd be like, well, Kucherov can do that shit because he's friggin' Kucherov and he gets shit done. But Kevin Hayes isn't Kucherov.
Yeah.
And I don't follow that team closely enough. I'm not in that room. Is probably a stupid move by Torts, but you don't know how much that guy's disrespecting the coach over and over again.
Yeah.
You would think he's crossed the line if Torts is going to do that.
Yeah. Something must have happened behind closed doors because like every scratching has a reason, and the reason isn't him being the leading scorer and trying to tank, knowing torts. So something like you're alluding to, Scott, something must have happened between the two of them where Hortz maybe said something or was disobeying him, not listening to him, whatever it may be. It has to be along those lines because you don't scratch your leading score for no reason. Doesn't really make sense. Um, Chris Letang, just 3 games after returning from his second stroke, recorded 2 points against Florida and led the team in ice time with over 25 minutes. Absolutely absurd. This guy is crazy. I don't know what the city of Pittsburgh have injected into the trio of Letang, Malkin, and Crosby, but the fact that they're still performing at such great levels, no matter what adversity they go through, is absolutely outstanding. And what a blessing to be a Pittsburgh fan because after all these years of having these guys, they're still competitive to win a cup, and it's fucked. It's so dumb. But shout out to Chris Letang. That guy's an absolute monster. Ryan Reeves nearly commits murder with hit on Hronik. Did you guys see this shit?
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it. I loved every second of it. People
Yeah.
hate on it a bit. People are going to hate on it. There's some head contact in there. Clearly wasn't intentional. But yeah, I loved it. I love that hit. I love it in hockey. People want it out of the game. I understand it. It can be bad optics, but I love to see that shit.
Dude, that was one of the biggest hits I've ever seen. And I was like I was obviously expecting a big hit by the caption, but like nothing could have prepared me for that. And he almost put him through the ice. It was unbelievable. I thought it was a perfect hit. It was just a
The only problem is there is head contact, and the only reason there is head contact is because Veronica was so low to the ice.
yeah,
So it's like if you're not going to allow that, you're not going to let players get hit, and they can just put themselves in vulnerable positions to avoid being checked or to
yeah,
draw penalties. Which, like in IIHF, that would have been a penalty for sure because there was head contact. That's just how it is in the international hockey.
yeah,
But like, what you can't just allow guys to be like doing whatever they want so they don't get hit or they draw
yeah.
penalties. Like you got to have some awareness on the ice, or that's going to happen to you.
Yeah, I think it was fine because Revo he didn't go out of his way to hit his head. He was perfectly stationary, had his elbow tucked. Everything I think Reeves met the criteria for a good hit. It was just he was a way bigger person. Roanoke put his head down at a tough time and was low to the ice. I think it was nothing against Ryan Reeves. It was it was just a massive hit. But Hayden, did you see the hit?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Considering that Hronik is on my fantasy team,
Yeah, he's
and
still
then
playing. I got him on fantasy too.
I thank God he did miss a game or two, right? But like, whew, I was just, come on, man, why?
Yeah.
And it was yeah, it was a huge fucking hit. Yeah.
It was funny. I don't know who went after Reeves after the hit, but in my mind, I was like, what are you gonna do to Reeves after he nearly just killed your boy? Like he's just gonna dominate you as well. Like he went after him
Dude.
and then didn't drop the gloves because he probably realized who it was.
Yeah,
But
seriously. But like, oh man, I couldn't just well, no, you know what? Football is kind of the same with like blindside hits, sort of like you just turn your head around and there's a fucking unit right in your
yeah,
face, which I get, but you know, that must fucking hurt, man.
Well,
oh,
and I understand the thought, like just like the Roanoke Fantasy Team League shit. Like you don't want to see really skilled guys out of the lineup because they're getting injured, but like that, it's not a dirty play.
no,
It was intended to be a very clean hit. And if skilled guys are gonna get hurt like that, they're not skilled enough. Get your fucking head up, figure it
yeah.
out.
Put on some body mass and get prepared for hits a bit more. So
Yeah.
I think it's just the way the league's
Or
built.
get the awareness to not get hit. Like all the
Yeah,
good small players. Quinn Hughes ever get hit like that? No, because he knows where the fuck everyone is on the ice at all times.
yeah. It gets the puck away quick. And yeah, there's a lot of factors going into it, but I thought it was a textbook hit. It was just a much bigger dude, an unstoppable force, just meeting Hronik, and it was like, what are you gonna do at that point? Couple signings here. LA Kings signed Trevor Moore to a 5-year, $4.2 million AAV extension. Trevor Moore, solid middle six forward. That fits in pretty well with the squad, so I think it was a pretty good signing. He's nothing special, but he definitely doesn't disappoint. Um, any thoughts on the signing here?
Yeah, I mean he's a good depth player for him, but like those are the type of contracts that get you in trouble. They really are. Like when you sign those guys and they're not part of your like, few core players and you use some cap on him, if he hates an injury or something and can't keep replicating this, like you don't, those are the type of players you don't want to get too attached to, in my opinion. He's not that young, he doesn't put up that many points. Like he is a good player, but the teams that win a lot are the guys that have cheap contracts in those roles. The
Yeah.
guys that have an ELC in that role or find a good steal somewhere. So that like it could get them into trouble when they need to sign young guys.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Um, Oilers signed Stuart Skinner, 3 years, $2.6 million AAV. Um, this goalie situation in Edmonton is crazy. Jack Campbell just signed the 5x5 in the offseason, and now he's basically the backup goalie, which is absolutely absurd. I think this is a great contract for Edmonton, both parties. Um, Skinner gets a little bit stability going forward. He was going to be an RFA at the end of this year. Um, it's Oilers were his childhood team, so it was a no-brainer on his part. And at worst, I think Skinner is going to be a really good backup going forward, and could contend for starting positions. Um, but I think this is a bargain, um, for the Oilers. What are your guys' thoughts on this contract?
I agree. I think it's a great contract. I remember when we were talking, Jeff, and you're like, is there drama or controversy with Edmonton's goalies? And I'm like, no, Campbell will figure it out. No, there is controversy. Like Skinner has been playing like really, really good.
Yeah,
And even last night, Campbell kind of let in two out of the four were just kind of weak. The game winner was a kind of a weak goal.
few muffins.
Yeah, but like, yeah, man, yeah, it's tough. Absolute tough luck with Campbell, obviously coming over from a very productive Maple Leafs team and now basically getting benched for the backup, who might not be the backup after this year.
I mean, if Skinner can be good enough 1A and Campbell can get a little better, it completely saves their goaltending situation because they're only in it for like 8 mil between the two of them. So that's really not bad at all.
Yeah.
Because what Campbell signed 5 years, so this will carry through to him till his last year, and they could trade him or cut him or do whatever they want then. But they if they can be a 1A 1B going forward, they're saved there.
Yeah. No, 100%. Minor trade here. Dennis Mulligan goes to Colorado. Dryden Hunt goes back to Toronto. Just a few depth moves here. The other night, Monday night, the Arizona Coyotes were favorites for the first time versus Montreal. This season says a lot about Montreal. It's a tough look, not gonna lie. But Montreal was able to pull up the 3-2 overtime win. Mullet Arena, I think, has been a success so far. It's been crazy atmospheres from what I've heard.
Somebody got
Low,
their finger bit
yeah.
off in there.
Yeah.
That's what my next point was is low seating capacity, but just means for a more concentrated, um, intense crowd and intense enough to have a finger bitten off. It completely slipped through my notes last week, but imagine going out to or talking to your mom and be like, "Mom, I got tickets to the AZ game tonight. I have to cancel dinner. All right, have fun. Hey, how was the game? Oh, I'm at the ER right now. Someone chomped the tip of my pinky off." It's like, all right, okay, what? Squeeze me? But it just makes me want to go to a Coyotes game more because that just has to be the tip of the iceberg. Like, what more is gonna happen at Mullet Arena?
Yeah, I agree with you. That makes it a win for the whole season, just that.
100%. Like this team's value is just going up now because people are paying attention to what the fuck is happening. But absolutely crazy. Um, Tage Thompson has been on an absolute tear. Me and Hayden talked so much about Jason Robertson earlier, and now that just has to be shifted to Tage Thompson because I feel like on the Left Side Heavy podcast we haven't been giving him his flowers enough. He has 26 goals, 24 points for 24 assists for 50 points in 32 games. He's had 9 points in the last 4 games, and what was it like 3.5 weeks ago? He had 5 goals and an apple against Columbus. What are your boys' thoughts on Tage Thompson? He's his first year in a contract year, or first year in his new contract, and people were pretty hesitant on it because he had one good year last year, signs the new deal, and then people were like, "Can he keep it up?" And it just seems like now he's one of the best bargains in the league. What
I
are your
don't even think
boys'
that contract doesn't even kick in until next year, I don't
Oh
think.
yeah, that's right. No,
He's
yeah, I'm
making like
mistaken.
7 mil.
I'm
So
mistaken. He's making like under $2 million right now or some shit like that.
yeah, and he'll be making 7 next year with the cap going up, worth
Yeah.
like what he's playing like now, he's worth 12
Yeah.
easy. It's insane. I'm shocked by it. I never thought he was going to be this good. I think he was what, late first and
Yeah, he's like 26th overall or
didn't
something.
do much for the Blues, comes over to Buffalo, doesn't, he plays in Rochester a bit. I think he got hurt for a year. He had fucking like 18 goals before his breakout season last year. They gave him a huge deal. It's like, okay, the guy scored 38 goals. Okay. Yeah, he had 18 in 3 seasons prior. Like, I don't think you should be locking him up long term. Now he's like a 130 point guy. So, and he's a fucking mutant. Like, there's nobody like him in the league. There's no forwards that big. He shoots the puck harder than anyone else. He's got the best hands. Like, to have that size and skill combo is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Just like alluding to his hands, like the way he dangles, it just looks like he's doing it in slow motion, but he gets through everyone. He knifes through everybody. Um, this isn't my personal opinion, but I kind of agree with it. Like I'm seeing like Ryan Whitney on the Chicklets podcast said that he sees shades of Lemieux, and not comparing to Lemieux, but like a big forward who dangles and shoots like that. You can't not mention Lemieux when you describe a forward like that, and Tage Thompson is exactly that. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna have a career like Lemieux, but he's built in a lab. It's crazy. Like players, especially hockey players, shouldn't be moving like this. But Hayden, I know like you're like just getting more and more into hockey this year. Um, were you ever expecting a name like Tage Thompson on Buffalo Sabres to have a season like this? And just like to keep it up the way he's doing it.
No, because I never expected Jason fucking Robertson to also just come out of fucking nowhere, man. Like, it's so cool seeing people you don't think of
Yeah.
to just shoot up the board on the points board, like a lot of these names, I'm looking at the point board right now, right? But like a lot of these names, I know,
Yeah.
I get why they're there. But then, yeah, seeing Tage Thompson, seeing Jason Robertson, it's just kind of like, that's not who I would definitely think would be up there,
Yeah.
and then you go down the list a little bit more and you see a little bit more people who you just wouldn't think would be on there. So it's just no, it's really cool to see.
Yeah. It's he's playing out of his mind. And I just don't
That
think this is a lucky year anymore. Like I just think this is who he is.
that gives you a lot of hope for Bo Horvat trade right there. They got him as the main piece for Ryan O'Reilly. It's like, oh, a first round pick from a couple of years ago that hasn't done anything, and look at him now. So that's another thing. If you're going to rebuild, you're going to have to win a couple trades big like that. And I guess
Yeah.
it's a win-win. The Blues won a cup, so
And
everyone's happy.
O'Reilly got the Selke and Conn Smythe that year too.
Yeah,
So it's not
so
like they got
Mhm.
garbage in that. Is kind of like a Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson type thing, but Buffalo doesn't have
right.
the title yet. But it's a
And that's another
win-win
thing I was just
situation.
thinking to talk about the Bills. Tage Thompson, he's like a Josh Allen of hockey,
Yeah.
where he's just bigger, stronger, faster than everybody,
Yeah. And just
and has the skill.
shoots it a mile and Allen throws it a mile. Like it's crazy. A few minor notes here. Thomas Hurdle suspended 2 games for high sticking Elias Lindholm on the Flames. Bruins. They extend their home point streak to 19 games with their win against Florida. Their only loss coming with a shootout loss against Vegas. This team is cracked out at home right now, and it's absolutely insane. And last note here, Cale Makar negates hooking penalty against Matt Barzal. Did you guys see this last night?
Yeah.
Did the ref have his arm up? I did see
Yeah.
it, or was he
Yeah.
just telling
The
his arm did go
the
up?
ref
Yeah.
called a
Okay, because I didn't
penalty on
see that on the
Barzal.
video.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
ref called a. I saw like a wide angle, and I saw the ref with his hand up skating over, and like he called a trip or something like that. And Cale Makar told him that there's no penalty; he just slipped. And
yeah,
there's
that just highlights the incompetence of fucking NHL referees.
yeah, it wasn't even close too. Like Barzal had his stick in the air, and Makar fell, and they called a tripping penalty. And it's like, what are you calling? Like that's just idiocy. And I think Makar
It's
and
just that goes back to like 2 years ago when it was like any stick near the hands is instantly a penalty. His stick was up near his friggin' hands, and that they see it and they call it, and we see it all the time with shitty hook and shitty slash calls that didn't even impede the player. It's like when they see that stick in that location, they just think penalty instantly.
they call slashes against like the shin pads now. It's ridiculous. But
Yep.
I think Cale Makar in the post game media said that I don't know if he would do that again. He apologized to his teammates, but he was like, I would have just felt guilty taking that penalty, even though he didn't do anything. So nice guy, Kale. Good guy alert.
Yeah,
Team guy. But yeah, that's all I got for the NHL. Should be a very fun, exciting week as always. It's gonna be a little bit of a break. I think in fantasy this might be the old 2 week matchup because of the holidays and stuff. So we'll see what happens. And Hayden, um, throw it over to you for NFL Week 15. I always
15.
forget. Yeah, I'm losing track of it now.
What a week, boys. What a week. Uh, it's gonna be a tough week. I realize too. I'm just having on right now. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Well,
fucking.
we will kick it off on Thursday night with probably the easiest bet anyone could ever make. 49ers minus 3.5. If you don't take that, you are fucking stupid. Like the Seahawks are now, it was a nice story. It was a nice story, Gino. But move over. The 49ers are official kings of the NFC West because every other team just sucks in that division.
Yep.
Did you guys catch this game at all?
Caught glimpses of it. I think I worked that night, but I can't remember. Thursday's a long time ago.
That is true.
Yeah,
But
I was watching, but I mean, Brock Purdy, what can you say? He's doing it. He's doing what Jimmy G is supposed to do, just taking care of the ball and letting the weapons do their thing, letting the D do their thing. They're the best team in the NFC as far as I'm concerned.
ooh, hot take over the Eagles.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Yeah, no, like I've when Brock Purdy came in, honestly, I wasn't too worried. I know a lot of 49ers fans are because it's new quarterback, it's a rookie, but nothing about Brock Purdy is special. You know what I mean? He just makes the right plays, and that's kind of what he did back in college, is what I heard. And I'm like, well, this is perfect. They
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't need someone to try and be super extra like a Trey Lance. All they need is just to fucking get it to McCaffrey, get it to Debo. Obviously, Debo was injured. Get it to Kittle, who had a monstrous game,
Veteran
and
Kittle.
then maybe like try and make a play once or twice, but you don't need to be the superstar.
This is
And
exactly what we said at the start of the year. We're like, oh, I don't know about the Niners or Trey
exactly,
Lance. If Jimmy comes in and just takes care of the ball and he's boring, they'll be sick, especially because their
exactly.
D is so good. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, they're winning every game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what has happened. And I know it's like, oh, wow, you just beat the Seahawks. But think about it, though. The last 3 weeks that Brock Purdy has played, not only did he finish out the game um, against the Dolphins, which people thought around that time Dolphins were a wagon. So that's huge win. But then he goes up against Tom Brady and crushes Tampa 35-7. And then he goes into Seattle, one of the most hostile environments in all of football, and wins
Yeah.
on like one of the brightest light stages.
Yeah.
This was like one of the better Thursday night matchup games, and he showed out.
Yeah, he's doing really well, and he's taking advantage of an opportunity that a lot of people like don't get. Like, he's Mr. Irrelevant. He's now known as Mr. Relevant because of how stellar he's playing. Um, and yeah, for the 49ers system, you don't need to be a first round pick to thrive,
And
which
let
I
me
was
ask you guys a simple question here. Sorry, Jeff. I thought you were done. Do you want to go on?
I was just saying, like, I was on the train of like I want to see what Lance can do.
Mm-hmm.
Because he like it's I don't know how to say this without sounding wrong, but like you don't have to um it's not hard what like Jimmy G and like Purdy's doing because of the weapons they have. Like, you don't have to be anything special, like what you kind of alluded to, but I was
Mm-hmm.
just excited to see how they would implement Lance's athleticism. And since he hasn't had a ton of opportunity, I just felt like they had to play him to see what they had.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was on the train of starting him over Garoppolo, because you can't really judge a book until you've read it,
That's true.
right?
He's just such a bad fit there. Like that all sounds good, but you're wasting opportunities to put it in those other playmakers' hands,
Yeah.
McCaffrey and Debo and Kittle and Ayuk.
Yeah.
Like, look at the guys who do that, Lamar and Justin Fields. Look at their weapons. Like they have to do that because it's the
Hmm.
best option for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, Fields running is better. Of course, Lamar's running is better. They don't have anyone on their team to throw to. Mark
Yeah.
Andrews, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a wasted touch. I would rather, a 220-pound friggin' running back run with the ball than my quarterback who might get injured. Like,
Yeah. I just wanted to see what he could do, but now I've obviously been proven wrong, and uh it just seems like you can kind of plug any game manager in there, and they're better off with that. But back to you, Hayden.
Hypothetical question. Let's say, for the sake of the show, Brock Purdy goes to the Super Bowl and wins, or at least makes it a close game in the Super Bowl, depending on whoever they play. What the fuck do you do? You
I
try
think
and
they
trade Lance for as much as you can get and build around Brock. And like, let's say Brock like shows out that he can play in this league.
I
He
think you
finishes
keep
off a
them
game.
both. I think you have to keep them both, and it's a camp battle. Like we don't know if Purdy is good or bad right now. We have no idea. He's playing
Yeah.
good. Like he was drafted so late. Did he get incredibly better in these like 14 weeks, preseason included, all that up until he played? Like, did he improve a shit ton? And if this was like a redraft, he would go like first round. We don't know if he's good,
Hmm.
right? And I
Well,
still,
that's what I'm saying, just hypothetically, right? Like let's just say like he does make it to the playoffs. He does do everything he needs to do. And from what the small glimpses that you've seen of Lance, his sort of miscues, his need to feel to run the ball or whatever, but like Purdy just makes from what we've seen, Purdy's been making the right decision every time he's touched the ball almost.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Like Jeff, what would you do?
Like if between Garoppolo and Purdy or Purdy and
Garoppolo,
Lance.
Purdy, and Lance.
I
Because they
think
obviously just extended Garoppolo.
I think this is Garoppolo's team going forward. Um, because like Garoppolo did the same thing that Purdy might do. Like Garoppolo also went to a Super Bowl with this team, so you still got to respect that. I think Purdy still has a lot to learn. I don't think there's any lesson better than get thrown into the fire and feel it out as you go, like what Purdy's doing. Um, but I think I would put him ahead of Lance in the depth chart at the moment. Like I still think this is Garoppolo's team. Um, Garoppolo's out for the season, right, with Liz Frank or
Yeah.
something like that, something along those lines, like a foot injury.
Yeah, but he could
But
be
yeah,
back
he
by
might
the
come
NFC
back. Yeah,
Championship. Yeah.
because he didn't need surgery. But yeah, I mean, I would put Purdy ahead of Lance in the depth chart. Going into training camp, and then whatever happens, happens. That's what I would do.
It's just
But I
such a
still think
crazy
Garoppolo is a
would-be
starter.
scenario.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But after Thursday comes Saturday. Um, we'll skip over the Ravens Browns because holy shit, just that was terrible. I hated that game, every bit of that game. Uh, but I think what we should talk about is it wasn't the Falcons, guys. It wasn't the Falcons who blew a 28-3 lead. It was Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
You got to look at the trends. Follow the biggest leads and then see who is the on the same side of the losing side. And that's Matt Ryan. Colts go up 33-0 and a half and lose 39-36. Someone take it away because I don't know where to start with this one.
they're just, I don't know what to say either. There's not a good football team. I feel bad for Matt Ryan. I feel bad for Jeff Saturday. They both fucking stink. Like, I was watching this game, talking to a buddy, he's a Colts fan, and like during the game, and he was like, they still might lose this game, man. I'm like, yeah, there's probably like a 25% chance they lose this game. And then it just kept going and spiraling downhill. I don't even know how it happened. It all just happened so quick. And next thing you know, they lost the game. Like,
I just remember I was doing something on Saturday. I was out helping my friends and my buddy was like in the back seat after the first quarter. He's like, "Yo, it's 20-0." And I'm like, "Oh shit, Minnesota's killing them." No, for Indy. And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then I saw it was 33-0 at halftime. And then I checked the score 30, 40 minutes later and it's 36 like 21 or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, what? And then Jeff, you called me, and then we started watching the game,
Well,
and
I
then
was I was texting you what was happening.
yeah,
I was like Indy or like Kirk or whatever. Like I was saying something. You're like, call me. Like I'm driving right now. What the fuck is happening? And then I called you and shit was just going down. I can't remember like exactly what was happening in the moment, but also Vikings got fucked many
yeah.
times
Oh, the
over.
fumble. Oh no, the fumble was
It was first of all the kick return. They had like a 59-yard punt return or kick return or whatever, and he got called back on a face mask on the receiving team when nothing
that
happened.
wasn't there.
no one touched anyone's face on the receiving team. So that was a ton of yards brought back, plus some lost due to the penalty. And then a fumble, clear fumble, and it was called dead for whatever reason when the guy wasn't even close to going down.
Yeah.
Forward progression wasn't stopped either. There wasn't even a whistle. It was just called dead, no touchdown.
Yep.
And it was and then they called a penalty on unsportsmanlike conduct or whatever for being mad at the officials. So then they brought him back to the 50-yard line. Like Minnesota got fucked and they still came
Still won.
away with a win because of that Dalvin Cook unbelievable screenplay. But it was
Yep.
one of the wildest games of the year, and Minnesota's been a part of the top 2 games of the year, which is
Yep.
crazy.
No, definitely. And then Saturday night, the Dolphins look like they're on the verge of, defeating their demons, maybe trying to actually make a late push in the AFC East. And then Josh Allen. Josh Allen just proves like that was an MVP game from Josh Allen. And this I think puts him right back at the top for voting because that last drive was all him. And he had the big run. He had the big 2-point conversion to tie it up. And then into overtime, obviously, all you need is a field goal and you win the game.
Yeah, I didn't catch much of this game because I was doing the Express, so I didn't really watch any of the highlights. So I'm kind of a
He
outside
was just
opinion.
You're
he
right.
was
I mean,
making like all the right throws.
Josh Allen's just doing things nobody else can do, really. Like
Mm-hmm.
if he takes care of the ball, they'll win almost every time. It's the same thing, except he does incredible things, unlike Purdy. Like he just does things people can't stop. He completely break down his protection. He rolls right, throws left. Like
Yep.
he runs all over you. Like you try to spy him, and then as soon as you're gonna get him on the run, he does a flip at the line of scrimmage. Like he's literally just unstoppable. He shut down everything, and he finds like an eighth option. It's stupid.
Yep.
I still there's not my favorite for the Super Bowl because he does have some turnover, high turnover games. I'm also just a hater, even though I love him. I'm just a hater in general of the organization. How can you not love the guy though? From his personality to his play style to everything he does, he is the man. It's very clear. But I don't want the Bills to win, so they won't be my favorite, and they never will be my favorite until they get like 3 bowls.
And that's fair.
But yeah, like I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, but Josh Allen does things he can't do. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his best play of this game was Josh Allen rolled out to the right and it looked like he almost should have just stepped out of bounds and taken like a sack. But he finds James Cook in the back of the end zone, cross body, like perfectly on a dime, only where James Cook could get it. And it was like touchdown. And it's mind blowing.
every quarterback who makes that throw, it's a pick every fucking time.
Everyone, yeah, because they never know exactly where to put it. And he still had like enough mustard on that ball to make it look like it just was like a normal planting throw. And it was like to his guy. He's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane and remarkable. But that was Saturday. Going on to Sunday. Quickly, the Eagles take care of business down in Chicago. Barely.
Yeah, it
Big
was
news
scary
from the
for sure.
game. Yeah, and also big news from the game too. Jalen Hurts might not play the rest of the regular season. Although Nick Sirianni, coach, is optimistic that he will play again this regular season. If you were smart, you don't put him in over the Dallas game, but you definitely try and win out, the last 2 games versus New Orleans and I don't actually know who they play week 18, but you definitely try and win out and hope that Dallas can lose so you win the division and get the first round bye. Because it looks like Jalen Hurts might need that with his shoulder.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people speculating that Jalen Hurts might play because of how much shit Michael Parsons has been talking about him. And Jalen Hurts might want to come out and like prove that against him, especially how much rivals the Cowboys and Eagles are. So
Yeah.
Hurts might try to go out there and prove something, but it also doing that might backfire.
Exactly.
Like there's not a ton to gain from it, but there's a ton to lose when playing hurt like this, like, especially against a physical, well put together Dallas defense. So it's a risky move if he plays. I say put your ego aside and
Yeah.
sit until you need to come back in, whether that's playing for home field or whatever. Like if there's situations where they need to win out, then come back in. But if you don't need to this week, try and ride with Minshew mania and
Yeah.
see what you can do there. Because Eagles do have a talented team, and I think this might be like a Brock Purdy situation where if Minshew just doesn't turn the ball over, then Dallas might be okay. So
You mean the
that's my
Eagles might be okay?
what did I say?
Dallas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got a comfortable couple game lead on the conference too for home field all the way through. So, I mean, you definitely sit them for one, maybe two, and then play them week 18 if you can, just to get them some reps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know how big this game is, and that's what could be the worst part about it. But fuck, you can never be too sure at this time.
They just need to win one. I don't know what the tiebreak would be because they're already 3 games up on Dallas, so they're not going to lose that division unless they lose out. And even then, I don't know what the tiebreak would be.
That's the case. If they lose out, then the tiebreaker doesn't matter because they play next week. And if
So it's the most
Dallas,
recent game because they already
yeah,
beat Dallas.
yeah, because if Dallas wins, well, then they go, I think, to
Is it division record?
division, yeah, division record,
And
Which
so I don't know who
which
Philly lost to. Who Philly lost to someone not in the div. I think it was,
Washington,
oh, was it Washington? It was.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah. And
yeah,
Dallas,
that
yeah.
could be the one, that could be the one chink in their diamond armor, but you never know.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so that happened, I guess. Lions, Jets. Crazy to say that this game, a lot of people watched, but a lot of playoff implications. Unfortunately, Mike White looks like he will be sitting out this next week as well because I think that just kind of ends the Jets season and ends Zach Wilson era in New York. Although I don't think he played
Yeah.
terrible,
It didn't play terrible.
still didn't play good though. He still had a terrible interception, but the Jets defense still looks elite.
Yeah. I mean, they're still in trouble. That Mike White hasn't done nearly enough for you to be confident and be like, oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna be a playoff team for sure with Mike White. Not even close. People think he's good because of how bad Zach Wilson is.
Exactly.
Like there's no way are they good with going forward with Mike White. I mean
No,
they're good. They're already kind of good, but they're not going to be, San Fran, Buffalo, Eagles, KC. They're not one of those teams with Mike White.
no, not at
Like
all.
so I can't say Zach Wilson should be done there yet because he still could be developing and not like the guy's problem is that he's an idiot. Like he's got all the talent in the world. He just makes the stupidest plays, misses throws. Like he's just got to dial it in. He could still be good.
Yeah.
He
I
definitely
wouldn't want
could
him on
be.
my team, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't just throw him away and be like Mike White's the answer now.
No, he needs the right coaching, and I think he needs like an offensive minded coach to more or less kind of take the reins on him. I think Robert Saleh being there just kind of is a little bit more strict, like make the right throw, don't try and be so extra. Where then you look at like Justin Herbert, right, where he is so extra because he has to be the terrible offensive play calling, but he has the talent to do it. So he has someone there to kind of look after him. Whereas I don't think Zach Wilson kind of does. And then the New York media is obviously huge
Yeah.
and will just shit on anyone who does bad and praise anyone who does good.
Yeah. 100%.
Steelers take care of the Panthers. Somehow the Steelers have beat every team in the NFC South. That is crazy. Because the Seahawks beat none of the teams. And I feel like the Seahawks would beat the Steelers. So that's a fun little thing. The Chiefs take care of business in Houston in overtime.
Yeah. Harrison Butker had a terrible game.
Harrison Butker had a terrible game.
Yeah.
Couple
Uh, but
fumbles too.
but Jerick McKinnon had a great
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Um, maybe game of the week as well. Like Jaguars upset Dallas. That was
Yeah.
a huge pick six.
That was massive. Not Dak's fault.
Definitely
No.
not Dak's fault.
That's
Dak
where
played good.
that's where I think like my dad is like correct. Like I don't know how this would change and they won't do this, but like figuring out a way to differentiate quarterback interceptions and wide receiver interceptions because a ton of interceptions that are thrown aren't nearly the quarterback's fault, but they still get pinned for it.
Yeah.
Right. I
Um,
mean, but anyone
it's
who watches football, just you know, you don't you put it with a bit of a grain of salt, almost like plus minus.
yeah,
I'm gonna be like, oh, fucking Josh Allen sucks. Look at me pixie ass just because it's fun for me.
yeah.
But like we all know a lot of them are, you know, receivers'
Like
fault for running the wrong route or dropping the ball or whatever.
yeah,
Or
like
if it's even just bad protection
yeah.
sometimes and he goes away, gets hit. Like,
Like how many interceptions were thrown this year where like it went through the hands off the helmet, banked up, and then a defender caught it where it's like
Just in the
quarterback did
mirror
his
way.
job. Quarterback did his job, but the receiver didn't. So it's like situations like that, but no, Jacksonville came up clutch, and I think they just have a habit of playing spoiler to teams that
they might get
are
in the
that need
playoffs,
a
man.
win.
They
Yeah.
could. They definitely could, especially with Tennessee.
They need a
Uh,
game back. Do they have a game left against each other?
yes, they
Yeah,
do. They
so
play
that's
week
awesome.
18.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that could be an elite Sunday night game.
Kind
Who
of
would have
like
thought?
what was it Jacksonville Colts last year where it was like um
Yeah,
no, it was
The Colts lost at the end and make the playoffs, didn't they?
yeah, they had to win and they were in, but they lost. The game I'm thinking about is LA
LA
and
Raiders, that one.
that one where like the winner of that game got the last spot in the playoffs. That's what I was thinking of. So
Right.
maybe it's something
Mhm.
similar like Tennessee and Jacksonville where it's this game wins the division. That would be crazy.
Yeah,
Give me
that would
all
be
that.
absolutely insane.
Give me all, not just a wild card spot, but for the division. Basically a
Home
Yeah.
wild
play
card
home
spot.
playoff game, yeah.
Yeah, basically a wild card spot because they suck, but
But you get it at home.
exactly.
A
I kind of hate that. I think they should
Jacksonville
change that.
home game.
I think if the fucking worst div winner has a lower record than the best wild card, the wild card team should get home field.
Well, whoever plays for the fifth seed, either Dallas or Philly, they'll be heading to Tampa.
Yeah.
Most
See, yeah,
likely
that
Tampa.
sucks, man. Yeah, how about you need at least 10 wins? 10 wins with the 17 game season as div winner to get home field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make more sense, but come on.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't get huge upsets at home, which makes again no sense, but here we are. Broncos beat the Cardinals. They scored over 24 points without Russ.
Brett Rippin.
Brett
QB1.
Rippin.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of the Titans, they lose a close one to the Chargers.
That game stunk too.
That was a big stinker, yeah. And then when everyone just thought that the Buccaneers were gonna make oh
Can
yeah.
I say something first about the Chargers?
Yeah.
Am I crazy to say that Staley will be gassed at the end of this year?
Oh no, not at all. It's the
Dude,
who do you think will Sean Payton go to? The Chargers or the Cardinals?
dude, it's
I told you
insane.
guys this guy sucked at the start of the
Dude,
year.
it's insane how talented Herbert is, and then this offensive play calling is just limiting him. I know like
Daly
the
probably
top
controls the defense though,
I
right?
know like the top Chargers weapons are like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They're not the fastest receivers, but you still got Burners and Palmer and Carter. But like, why is Herbert throwing like constant out routes, like 7 yard out routes when he has the arm that he has?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane how limited he is. Where it's like the one time he finally puts a drive together is when he's throwing it 30 yards to Mike Williams,
Yep.
rolling out like, it's just like it's insane to me how much Herbert is being limited. And I know Staley probably handles the defense, but he still has a word on like overlooking the team.
That is very true.
And I just think Herbert still hasn't been able to find someone that gels well with the way he operates. And I think a lot of his success comes from having to improvise and make a play himself rather than the actual play calling out of the huddle. But that's just my personal opinion. And I'm definitely not salty that Herbert only needed 15 fantasy points for me to win my week, and he only got me 5,
Yeah,
but
that's shitty.
which is why I'm also very salty. But
I
that's
definitely would have
besides the
thought
point.
I definitely would have thought the Chargers getting in Joe Lombardi for offensive coordinator would have been a huge boost for him, considering he came over from the Sean Payton coaching tree. But I'm realizing it now. The Sean Payton coaching tree fucking sucks. All right. Like if
It's
you're
like
not Sean
Bills.
Payton, yeah, like if you're not Sean Payton, every disciple of you just sucks.
Yeah.
Like we could talk about Justin Herbert's like terrible play calls for what he is, but it's like the realization on some of these teams are just absolutely awful. Like you have something special with the guy who commands your offense, and this is the type of shit that you do. It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Get
100%.
with it. But like I said, just when everyone thought Tampa Tom
Back.
was back, they were like a 3.5 point underdog to the Bengals. It was 20-7 at halftime, and I wasn't worried for a second that the Bengals weren't gonna lose this game. Like
Joey B.
Joey B is just so cool. Like he's so calm. I can't get over it every week of how calm he is in the pocket. He'll stand straight up, look left, he'll look right, and then he'll throw the ball wherever he needs to.
Yeah. He won't rush his options. He'll go through every
Every
thing.
progression and
Yeah.
still take a fucking huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're scary right now. A lot of adversity early in the year is like the perfect storm for like a championship team. They've been through it. They beat the Chiefs. They're winning games, comeback games, weapons all over the place.
Yep.
Scary team.
What are they, 10-4 now?
10-4.
I think they're the quietest 10-4 team like I've ever seen in my life. Like
Absolutely.
I did not think like of the Bengals at all in terms of Super Bowl contention
And they've won 6 in a row.
until like a few weeks ago. And I'm like, if you asked me a few weeks ago blindly, like what's the record, I would have been like, I don't know, 500 or whatever. But it's like, no, this team's 10-4 now. It's like, um, I was I was blown away. I was like, Joe, like Burrow's shooting up the MVP race now. He's like in the top, maybe fringe top 3.
hmm
Um, wherever you want to rank Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Burrow, but I think those are the 4 in the
Those are the
running right
four.
now, and
Yeah.
it seems like they interchange every single week. But it's going to be very interesting to see that race, and Bengals are turning it on at the perfect time.
Yeah.
They got Bills week 17, and if they win that game, it's like they've beat the Chiefs and Bills. Are they the favorite in the AFC?
I think they might be. I
Dude,
think
that's
they
gonna
have to
be
be.
an electric Monday night game.
Yeah, that's going to
Holy
be good,
shit.
especially with like the AFC might be up in um uh for contention or
Yeah,
whatever if the
Yeah.
Bengals still play like this and maybe
all
the
three of those
Chiefs.
teams and the Chiefs could all win it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
gonna be fun.
That's lit. Um, Giants and Commies. I thought it was gonna go 2020 again, guys. But no, for some reason the refs just completely played spoiler to the Commanders actually having a chance. I didn't watch this game, but I hopped on Twitter the next day and I saw like 4 separate plays of how the refs fucked the Commanders. The most brutal one obviously being the like terrible no call for pass interference. And
When?
then
yeah,
there was the Terry McLaurin lining up the ref on the right side of him saying, "Am I good?" And then even in the interview, McLaurin said, "Yeah, the ref said I was good."
No, the
twice.
ref even told him to move up a little bit. You got a little extra space. He moved up, and then he thumbs up him.
Yeah,
And then he
and
has his
then
hand on his flag, ready to
ready
throw
to
it.
go.
It's like that's fucked up. This game,
Yeah.
like, I'm already mad enough at the refs in this league, and that's just insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I feel like the Commanders were definitely screwed out of a win, and just for that, I hope the Giants lose their next couple games and the Commanders somehow win, even though I don't think the Commanders are beating the 49ers next week, but you never know.
Well, listen, it's not the Giants' fault either, though. That I hate the Giants. I want them to lose too, but it's not their fault that the refs are fucking up. Like,
No, you're right. It's definitely not their fault, but it's just
Them being lucked into a win.
yeah,
exactly. Like
sure.
I'd rather see the Commanders go to the playoffs because truthfully, I think the Commanders are the better team. I think the Giants just got lucky with an easy schedule and they've completely fallen off a cliff in the last couple of weeks.
They snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Oh,
But
glad you finished that one off. I was hoping someone would jump in with that.
I mean, come on, I have to finish it off.
Yeah.
Um, and then last night's game, the Packers and the Rams.
Oh my God.
Aaron
I
Jones,
didn't like that one. You have a
obviously.
bad fantasy week.
Aaron Jones
Yeah,
cucked Jev
I
for the
needed
last
I
play.
needed a 2 yard rushing touchdown from Jones, and he got tackled at the 1, and then they took a knee.
You got your TD though.
Yeah,
Got
I
your 20
know.
points. How many points do you need?
I needed 7 more. So if he ran that in on the 1, mind you, this
I feel like
isn't
you could have
Jones's
also
fault.
asked for Herbert to get 15 points.
And this is my point exactly.
Yeah.
It's not Jones's fault that I lost. It's Herbert and like a bunch of other factors. But the fact that like, I wish Jones had a bad game so I had no hope of winning. But when
Yeah,
I lost hope and then regained it at the end and then it got taken away from
Taken
me,
away.
that's what
kind of
made
like when you come back from a 17-3 halftime deficit and get a late fourth quarter lead and then lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm sorry, guys. I just got a warning on my computer. Arctic outflow warning is what's being called in the lower mainland area.
It's gonna be cold as hell tomorrow.
Holy fuck.
What does that
I
even
think
mean?
I think
I don't know. It's supposed to be
temperatures
like negative 15 or something, I think.
Jesus
temperatures are actually
Chrysler.
supposed to feel like negative 20 with wind chill. That is scary. But moving on, Saints, Falcons. The boys got it done. Again, Jeff, how many times have we been preaching this? Kamara gets over 13 touches. What happens? They win the game.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
It's weird
I
giving your
told
best
you,
player the ball. It's weird. It's a weird
imagine.
concept.
Yeah, he gets like he gets the touches he needs. I told you this stab. I don't know if Scott knows it. Scott, the Saints' bread and butter was the screen pass to halfbacks, more or less Alvin Kamara. How many times this year have the Saints thrown a screen pass to their running backs up until this past week? Because I don't know if they did.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I know I got Kamara in fantasy and he's not getting nearly the receptions I've been wanting.
They've only thrown it to the running back on a screen 5 times this whole year.
Pats do it twice that much a game.
Like that was the Saints' bread
That
and
is
butter. I know
insane.
you had Drew Brees just to dump it off, but like it works.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
what else can Andy
works,
Dalton do? He can only dump it off too.
right?
Yeah.
He's just a
It's
shitty Drew Brees.
absolutely brutal. I
Don't
hate it.
don't
David Johnson
Yeah.
actually ran more routes than Alvin Kamara did. How fucked up is that?
Don't fix what's not broken. It doesn't matter. The capabilities of your quarterback still run the screen passes that were working. It doesn't make
Ah,
sense. And the fact is, now you're bringing in a quarterback that can do more than Breeze. So it should be even more feasible to run screen passes because that's all Breeze could run. So the defenses should expect it. And it was still working. Whereas
yeah.
now you have a quarterback that can throw it deep, mid, quick hitter, and a screen. So screen passes should be more susceptible to like
Yeah,
defenses should
imagine
open up
that.
to it more. It's fucking outrageous that they
Someone give
don't.
me the offensive coordinator job because I will give Kamara what Kamara needs, okay?
80 touches.
Yeah, literally a game.
Yeah,
I run him into the ground.
no one but Kamara.
Yeah. But the run defense for New Orleans, has taken a huge step back this year. I know I had high hopes for them. Obviously none of that has come to fruition.
Greatest defense of
One of
all
my
time.
one of my great takes this year. I've had a couple good ones and a couple just terrible ones we'll sweep under the rug. But Rashid Shaheed, uh
He's not
he's
bad.
he's going to be something. Like, I know there's some players that you kind of give, a lot of UDFA money to, but this guy's burning people on a consistent basis every week.
Yeah.
And I love just saying Rashid Shaheed.
Oh, first team all name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's something like the Patriots will always find good corners. The Steelers will always find good receivers. The Saints always find good undrafted
Burners.
free agent special teams players.
Yeah.
Like Rashid Shaheed was electric. Deontay Hardy was electric. And I can't
Callaway.
remember. Yeah, Callaway was good. I can't remember who they had before the last couple of years, but
Anyways.
yeah. So that was fun. We swept the Falcons, tied 54-54 all-time record against them. So we go into a new year tied.
Yeah. Let's go.
And now for the most boneheaded play I've ever seen in existence. It's tied 24-24 with no time on the clock. You'd figure you'd go down to play into overtime. Jakobi Meyers wanted to be Superman.
There was a post route to Chandler Jones.
That was a dot to Chandler Jones, though. Let's be honest.
First thing we got to get through here
He
is
was out of bounds.
Terrible
out of fucking bounds
touchdown
catch.
call. Yes.
How the fuck
I
was there
agree.
not conclusive evidence? I could see it on my TV. How
Yeah.
the fuck is that possible?
Like,
It
yeah,
have-
okay,
it have-
whatever.
The quarter of his
Worst play
foot
of all
was out.
time. Yeah, that fucking is such bullshit combined with the fucking Washington shit, Minnesota game shit. This fucking league is so broken. We already lost a fucking game to Minnesota from a shit call where there's fucking hands under the ball. This, like, the team sucks. So that's fine by me. I always want to watch a playoff game. We're fucking 9-5 if it isn't for the officials in the league. And yeah, the Pats have won games and teams win games. But when you're this bubble team-ish, you can't be fucking getting games taken away from you by the officials. And in the end, it's better for the franchise. We're going to have a better pick. They weren't going on a run. But I'm still pissed off about it. I like watching playoff games.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking Jakobi Meyers play. Matt Patricia, the whole thing's fucked. But Stevenson should have never handed the ball off. It's a shame he's such an amazing running back and got 35 yards and made it look like there was a chance to score.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's equal blame to go around. Not equal, but he has some blame for handing it off and then everyone thinking, oh, we're doing laterals here. But yeah, it was just stupid. The stupidest thing is that he thought throwing it 30 yards backward to Mac Jones could create a play. What's Mac Jones going to do? He's the only guy there. He's
Yeah.
going to run 60 yards to the house. He said he didn't see Chandler Jones, which is fine. Okay, you didn't see him, and that's a mistake. But just throwing it to Mac at the fucking 40 is.
Yeah. You're not throwing it to Allen or Lamar.
If you're still allowed a forward pass in that play, I can give him some credit because then Mac might have slung it downfield, but he's not running 60 yards.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I love that Myers took it on the chin whilst being interviewed. But when he said, like, I thought Mac Jones was open, I'm like,
yeah,
why
So?
Mac? Like, I would have tossed it to my offensive lineman 5 yards beside me before I passed it to Mac Jones 30 yards behind me. I get he's just trying to make a ballsy play, and yeah, Stevenson handing the ball back probably never should have done that. Just should have went down.
Of course he shouldn't have. And we'll never know what happened on the sidelines, what the play was called. Maybe it was just supposed to be a draw. Maybe they were told try to run the fucking play. Which when Stevenson handed the ball off, I'm like, oh, don't fucking word for word, don't fucking do this shit right now. You're gonna lose yourself the game.
And then
then I'm like, oh my fucking god, they just did. They did. They threw it right to him. I thought for a second Mac Jones might make the tackle. Didn't even come close to doing that.
Chandler Jones was like, this is my one opportunity to just fuck the Patriots, and I'm doing it.
Did you see the video of the Pats fan?
Yes.
Like cheering, seeing Ramondre run, and he was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then he was like kind of confused when he passed it back to Myers, and then he was like, no. No.
Yeah.
As soon, you can see like the Raiders
going
fans cheering, and then just You
also saw like this live play like on the screen behind his head, so you
Yeah.
could watch what's going on in the play and his reaction at the same time. It was one of the it sucked, but it was a
Good
freaking
video.
hilarious. It was hilarious video. It was perfect, but no, it was brutal all around. Yeah, Scott, you raise a good point. I hate blaming the refs, but when they fucked up as bad as they have in the same weekend,
Yeah,
it's
that's what makes it even worse. And like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying, it's
come on. Three
you're gonna
separate
lose.
games
You're
on the
gonna lose
same
games
slate.
here or there because of officiating. It happens, and like this won't doesn't matter to a KC or Buffalo or a Cincy because they have room for that. But these teams like the Jets and us and the fucking Chargers and shit, you lose 2 games as an 8-6 team, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Oh,
so they got to get better. They won't get better. It's been a problem since I've watched football. Like you go Raiders fans of just everyone's talking about tuck rule now. It's like, oh, a team getting screwed in a Pats Raiders game. Like, what do you know? Like it goes back that far and probably even fucking further. Like
yeah.
officiating in this league, I don't know. I don't want to be tinfoil hatting, but it's fucking hard not to with how much money is in this league. And even though I think the Pats being a playoff team is really good for league revenue,
Yeah.
but fucking Goodell hates us. Fucking Brady should have never been suspended. It's all bullshit. I'm so pissed off still. I didn't watch a second of the Sunday nighter there, the Commanders game, even though it was an awesome playoff game, like a whatever. I couldn't watch a second of it. I'm so pissed off. I don't want to watch another second, even though I watched Monday night and it was pretty sick. But I'm so fucking upset, dude. Just because I want to watch a playoff game, and now they're basically screwed. They got such a hard schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Like
Raiders,
there's always
Bengals, Bills. No, Miami.
yeah, Bengals,
Miami.
Bengals, Bengals. There was a chance though. You win that one, and they're 8-6. They lose to the Bengals, probably lose to Dolphins, maybe not, and then they might have the Bills without Josh Allen.
Well, it's like,
So
yeah, if
like
you beat Miami and then you beat the Bills who are resting,
exactly, there was a fucking big avenue there,
yeah.
and
Now it's just kind of closed.
now they have to beat. They have to probably win out. Maybe they can. They have to. They're so screwed, and it's so hurts so much. Like it's like you don't even want to be mad about the fucking out of bounds catch because of how fucking stupid they were. It's like you deserve to lose, or you're gonna do that fucking dumb shit.
Yeah.
But it's still bullshit. And who's to
Hey,
say the Raiders wouldn't have scored? They had 30 seconds left, and they were operating on that drive. They still might have got in, but we'll never know because the refs blew it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys this though. You guys would both be or no, you guys would be the top of the division in the NFC South.
Yeah, see that makes it even worse. We get that's
Fuck
like
you,
that's
Aiden.
I'm so fucking frustrated, dude. Like, and they played so bad. The first half of that game was like the worst football I've ever watched. They had every play, they had no idea what was going on. They'd be down to the last second because the communication was awful. Nobody knew what routes to run. They were getting delayed game penalties. They snapped the ball on a punt before anyone was ready. Jabril Peppers is standing looking the other way and it gets blocked because he'd had no idea the ball was being snapped. Like the whole fucking thing was broken. Like just the amount of mistakes that they've made this season that like a pee-wee football team wouldn't make is so like I
Yeah.
don't mean to say that word, but like it's really stupid.
Yeah.
I
100%.
agree. And that's week 15.
That's week
Ugh.
15. It's gonna be
It was
interesting.
a great week of football. It really was.
It was.
Yeah.
It
If you're
was
a
a great week.
non-Pats fan, like and a non-Colts fan, that was awesome.
Yeah. It really was. And we get to do it all again next week. But getting pretty long here, but we obviously have a game like every week. Told you boys to prep. In the spirit of the holidays, Sunday being Christmas, all types of festivities to get forward to look forward to. It's gonna be a great next couple days. We're doing a Christmas draft. All things Christmas, anything related to Christmas, anything around it. I kind of cut off Christmas themed stuff at New Year's. I think anything into January doesn't count towards Christmas anymore, but anything prior, anything 31st to the beginning of December is my Christmas frame. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. Spirit of holidays, we're gonna be doing a draft. Hayden, as a host of this episode, are we doing a snake draft or are we doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3?
I think considering that there's 3 players, I think we should do a snake draft.
Snake draft? All right.
Yeah.
As Scotty, as a guest of the show, Where from 1 to 3 do you want to draft?
Pick 3.
Pick 3. Good pick. I wanted to pick 3. Um,
Yeah, because you could go any which way for the first
yeah.
3 picks, I feel like.
All right, Hayden, heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails.
Ah, bitch.
Oh my God, no!
I'll take pick 2. I'll take pick 2.
Oh, fuckers.
Yeah. So you got pick 1, and yeah, if you have any questions whether the pick counts or not, I'll make that judgment, and if I want the pick, it's a no. If I don't need it, it's a yes.
This is all things Christmas, like in the Christmas season or in
Yeah,
the whole month of December.
like Christmas season kind of thing, anything you kind of relate to
Okay.
Christmas time kind of
Okay.
thing.
Oh man, this is tough.
Oh yeah, it's
like
tough.
how many picks are we all getting? 4?
4 or 5.
I think 4 is a good number.
All right, we'll do 4.
Okay.
Do 4 rounds.
Whew. Okay. Okay. Well, to start off the draft, if someone could do the sleeper tone. My 1-1 is just purely going to be gifts, receiving and giving.
It's a good pick.
Okay. That's a solid pick.
It's a good pick. That's kind of what I had.
I had them split up, but you can have both of them.
Yeah. Come on. Surely you get both because I don't want to seem like an ass or a
Yeah, fair
narcissistic
enough.
asshole.
Yeah, so you're gonna take getting gifts.
Yeah.
So this is a tough spot because there's still so much on the board.
Right?
Did you include stockings in gifts? Is that a separate entity?
I feel like it should be the same, no?
All right. Same? Sounds
because
good.
you're
That's-
opening it, right?
Yeah. It's quite all right.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna do the World Junior Championships. Boxing Day event. The world.
Pick.
What's that?
Very solid pick.
That's my pick. Scotty, for your first and second pick.
My first pick, I'll go with the dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah.
Christmas dinner. I mean,
It's not just the food, it's the people, drinks, good times. I think that it's the best part of the whole season for me. And my second one, I guess I'm going to keep it in the same vein here, and we're going to go with Christmas breakfast, which doesn't get talked about a lot. You just open up your gifts, everyone's having a good time, you make a nice breakfast, better one than you usually have.
What order do you usually do for your Christmas morning?
Presents with like a coffee and then breakfast.
You get to open one gift, breakfast, and then back to opening gifts. Kind of builds the anticipation.
Yeah, we do stockings with coffee, breakfast, and then gifts. That's what we usually do.
Yeah, we do stockings first, but then I always do all the gifts and then breakfast.
That's fair. I saw a lot of people saying there's a right order, and I just wasn't sure. All right. So Christmas dinner and breakfast off the board. Very solid. Very solid. Can't argue with that. I'm gonna go with the fat man, Santa. I'm going Santa. I think he's the face of Christmas, or at least he's up there. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Christmas, I would say. So so I'm going Santa. That's my pick.
Who else is on that Mount Rushmore?
What's that?
Who else is on that Mount Rushmore?
I don't know. I didn't think about it too much. I just kind of threw it out there.
Does Rudolph get on there?
Oh, surely. Frosty.
Yeah.
And then Scrooge, just because of the name.
I
Oh,
agree. Yeah.
Grinch might work his way into.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
See, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. Like your Mount Rushmore top athletes. Like one's got. There's no right answer. There's no right answer.
So I feel like I had an answer. I feel like it kind of ties into what you said, Jeff. So I don't think I can take this. So I'm gonna eliminate this already. But I had trying to catch Santa on Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a tough game. That was a tough game.
Obvious. Okay, so I can't use that one, which is totally fine.
I mean, you can. I just picked the entity of Santa. So you're kind of picking a
yeah,
subgenre of it. That's fine. I'll
yeah,
allow it.
but that's not gonna be my pick. But
All
I
right.
no, it's like, I have more. I have more. I don't know if this one will get around to me, but you know, after Christmas, what do you got to look forward to? You get back to back like days off within a week. And that's New Year's. The New Year's parties.
New Year's parties. Yeah. That's definitely it's a hit or miss with people. Some people look forward to it, some people absolutely despise it. But it totally depends what kind of person you are. But it's a pretty solid pick. Solid pick. Fucks with it. We got
And then
we
on my
got around the
return
corner.
around here, I have it being socially acceptable to have alcohol in your morning drink.
See, I had all day drinking. That was one of mine as well.
I had a Bailey's and coffee in there. So
Yeah, see? It's socially acceptable, right? You
Yeah.
can just put Bailey's in anything and you're fucking golden.
Yeah. So morning booze is what I'm putting. Morning booze.
All right, all right.
All right. For my third pick. Very very tough here. But there's a lot that I want that hasn't been picked yet. Man, oh man. Um I think this is something that I enjoy. Maybe I think I'm on the majority of this, but I'm gonna go A White Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I think A White Christmas is majority of people enjoy it. Just the scene of looking out your window, opening presents
Snow.
with snow everywhere. Some people hate the snow, so they might not like A White Christmas, but I just think the scenery of it. Every Christmas movie has A White Christmas,
I fuck with it.
so that's my pick. That's my
yeah, it's a good pick.
White Xmas.
So I get two here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna go with, can I just have just outdoor activities in general? Sledding, skiing, skating.
I was gonna be specific with mine. I wrote
I
down
was gonna be
specific
specific. Yeah.
because dude,
Okay, well,
you're taking like 80 activities in one pick. That's
Yeah.
I'll
unfair.
take I'll take two of them then. I'll go with sledding and skating outdoors. Just going for a nice upscale
Damn.
ODR. I am more of a skier than both those things, but those ones are special in the Christmas vein.
So sledding and ODR.
Yeah.
ODR is the time of my life.
I've
ODR is
actually
so much
never
fun,
I've actually never been outdoor rinks.
dude. The underneath the pit bridge, there's that pond there.
Yeah.
It freezes like every year. Obviously, if it's hitting -15 tomorrow, it's a very good chance that
You might
Thursday,
have to go
Friday.
and play on there, huh?
Yeah, Hundy P. There's a lot that I want here, but I feel like it's appropriate, and you need to have it. You need to have a movie. I gotta throw a movie on my list
Yeah.
here, and I don't think this is the popular pick, but in Jevin Lefebvre's world, in terms of nostalgia, this is a tradition of mine every New Year's Eve, and that is watching the Polar Express with the fam. So
Yeah.
I'm taking the Polar Express. Um, it's top 3 Christmas movie in my opinion.
Tom Hanks playing like 80% of the people on there is
Oh,
just
100%. And
fucked with my mind.
fun fact, the main character, you never hear his name. It's never told. So
Yeah, there's also one scene in there where like all the elves are dancing around like the sleigh. One of the elves just doesn't have legs.
yeah, and apparently, when they pull into the North Pole or whatever, one of the elves wasn't animated, so it's just like keyframe to start at one point and go to the other. It's not walking, it's just like gliding
Oh my
amongst
God.
the crowd. But I guess it's stuff that you never really notice, right?
Yeah, you never
So
catch.
yeah, but yeah, that's my pick, Polar Express. Hayden.
That's good. See, I know actually what we were talking about, like with Scotty can't have just outdoor stuff. I just wrote down Xmas or Christmas Eve movies because I feel like every family has a traditional movie.
Yeah.
Mine, at least with my dad, we always used to watch Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation.
Oh, it's It's
Like,
my GOAT Christmas movie, I think.
yeah, it's
It's the
my
best.
GOAT Christmas movie as well. Obviously, you and I were fucking
Is your
doing
house
lines
on
from it.
fire, Clark?
Shitter was full.
Yeah. Scotty, have you seen that movie? Must have.
I'm not sure if I have or not. I've seen a bunch of them.
You're not sure if
All the
you
National
have?
Lampoons all blend together for me. I can't remember which is which.
Do
The
yourself a
Christmas,
favor, and
yeah.
when you hit up Trail, put on National
All right.
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Do yourself a
Yeah.
favor.
I don't
You'll
think I actually have. I've seen the other ones, but
you're
Oh,
not
it's
gonna
the
regret
GOAT.
this at all.
It's the best.
Also, fun fact, the boy in that movie is actually Leonard from The Big Bang Theory.
oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
also one that I didn't know until my mom told me. So
So your pick
Yeah.
is Christmas Eve movies, Hayden?
no.
Oh.
No, that was you
Going to?
kind of took it, yeah, and I didn't want to take it. So I got to be separate here. My outdoor activity, making snowmen.
Okay.
It's a great
Okay.
pick. It's a great pick.
It's just a classic, you know. Even as an adult now, I still just kind of want to go out there, roll up a couple big balls, and then, you know, put on a carrot.
It's certainly no sledding, that's for sure.
That's a fact. It's a fact.
I had tobogganing, but yeah, you took it, Scott. You took it.
All right. Do we want to go one more round here, or are we fine with our picks? Should we just say honorable mentions, or do you guys want to do one more
Do
round?
honorable mentions. I get screwed in the snake if we go an odd number of rounds.
That's fair. I had there's a few that I had here. I had some Christmas news. I had ugly sweaters.
Yeah, I like that. I have a
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
a good one. That's a good one.
I got one
sweaters.
from the Pat McAfee show last year. It's pretty hilarious.
That's fire. I won a 2-6 of Bacardi in like a Yankee swap with our family, and there's a Bacardi ugly sweater in it as
Nice.
well.
Oh, that's
It was
perfect.
It was a huge dub. Huge dub for the boys.
Family Christmas games.
Yeah, that's classic.
I
Yeah,
just had just having time off and spending
That's a
time with
good
people
one.
you don't see a lot.
I had Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Jesus Christ, get out of here. Work Christmas parties.
Oh, I think that one fell through the
That
cracks.
one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one actually. Yeah, Jesus.
I almost picked Boxing Day too, just deals and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's why I had to I had to allude to the World Junior Championships. It's something tournament I always look forward to every year. It's a good
And that's
time.
why I kind of said New Year's, because it isn't Christmas,
But it's still
around
in
the
that
same
season.
time.
Holiday season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, you
100%.
still have all of your shit up, you know? It's like, oh, just save it past New Year's.
100p. I'll make a little graphic of this to post on the gram. But Scotty, thank you again for coming on this episode. It's always a blast having you on. Where can the people find you?
Just Twitter, @_ Scott Ony. And yeah, read my stuff on theleafsnation.com and all the other content on there. Check it out.
Fucking rights. Hayden?
So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter @Hayden_Barton.
And you can find me on Instagram @Jevon.Lefave, on Twitter @JevonLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok @LeftSideHeavy_. Subscribe to the YouTube Left Side Heavy and rate and review it anywhere you listen to the podcast. Scott, safe travels up to Trail. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you. To you, Hayden. I'll see you on Christmas Eve. And to anyone listening, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Enjoy time with the family. Peace out. Much
And
love.
I also want to say
Thank
Merry
you for
Christmas
listening.
too, because I want to.
Thank
To
you.
everyone except the NFL refs.
For sure.
Oh yeah,
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Peace.